What's good, everyone? Welcome to the Bucks Film Room, where we have the second installment of our 2018-19 player grades coming at you. But first, make sure to hit me up on Twitter at Bucks Film Room and hit that subscribe button to my YouTube channel here. Since the Bucks 2018-19 season has come to an abrupt and painful end, I'll be reviewing each player's season and breaking down how they did in the major categories. In order to accurately assign them a grade, I'll be using the B-Ball Index's player grade tools. This tool breaks the player's game down into a bunch of categories, but we won't be using all of them. Instead, we'll focus on the perimeter shot, finishing, playmaking, post play, perimeter defense, interior defense, and offensive and defensive rebounding. For the first one, which was George Hill's grades, we compared his to all positions. But we're going to mix it up a bit here for Nikola Mirotic and break it down as compared to his position alone, which is labeled as a big. Mirotic was acquired from the New Orleans Pelicans in February in a three-team trade that saw the Bucks ship out Thon Maker and a gluttony of second-round picks. Mirotic had a decent regular season before breaking his thumb on March 19th, and he missed the rest of the regular season. However, he returned just in time for the playoffs. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to regain his shot in the postseason. We begin there with his outside shooting. Mirotic is known as a deadly outside shooter with a quick release. He showed this on occasion in Milwaukee as he made 3 or more three-pointers in 6 of his 14 regular season games. He also had incredible range and could stretch defenses beyond the three-point line. That was a big selling point for the Bucks in acquiring him. Mirocic's quick release allowed him to get shots off in tight spaces and knock down 35.7% of his threes when a defender was within 2 to 4 feet of him. In other words, when he was tightly guarded. When you compare that to the NBA average in 2017-18 of 31.2%, you understand how he earned an A grade in perimeter shooting. As good as his outside shot was, his ability to score around the basket was equally as bad. For starters, Mirotic didn't make many shots around the rim, which hurts his grade in this category. He only took 22% of his attempts around the rim, which ranked in the 9th percentile among bigs according to Cleaning the Glass. Furthermore, when he actually got to the rim, he didn't shoot very well. His 65% shooting percentage ranked in the 48th percentile, also according to Cleaning the Glass. And lastly, most of his shots around the rim were assisted, which also works against him in B-Ball Index's grading. Therefore, his low percentage around the rim earned him a D+. The hits just keep on coming for Mirotic as we move on to playmaking. This is clearly the weakest part of his game. He's a straight catch-and-shoot big man with some ability to create for himself. His 1.4 assists per game number with the Bucks is extremely low, and he usually doesn't create for others. He's able to make a decent pass here and there, but for the most part, this isn't his game, and his D- grade reflects that. To wrap up the offensive portion, we move down low. Although Mirotic doesn't post up often, he will take advantage when he has a smaller defender on him. This is when he does his damage and has pretty decent footwork. He won't overwhelm his man, but he will push your discipline to the limits. He earns an A- here. Moving to the other end of the floor, we begin on the perimeter. This is perhaps one of the most underrated aspects of Mirotic's game. He's mostly known as an outside shooter, but he has decent lateral quickness, and he uses his long arms to make up for what his feet lack. Mirotic is able to use those long arms to generate 1.8 deflections per 36 minutes. While that won't jump off the page at you, it is a solid number for someone who's looked at as a defensive sloth by parts of the basketball community. He gets a B+ for his position in this category. The other portion of defense comes on the interior, where Mirotic is not nearly as good. His lack of athleticism really hurts him here, where he struggles to defend shots around the rim. Players usually have no problem scoring when Mirotic is down low. This hurts his grade mightily, where he comes in at just below average with a C-. The last general category is rebounding, and we'll look at his offensive rebounding first. This is not the best aspect of his game, as he spends a lot of time on the perimeter. He only grabs 4.1% of available offensive boards when he's on the floor, which ranked in the 19th percentile among his position according to Cleaning the Glass. That just won't cut it, and he receives a D. The last category is defensive rebounding, where Mirotic is merely average. Even though he himself only grabbed 14.9% of defensive rebounds, the Bucks as a team barely saw a slippage when he was on the court. Overall, he wasn't in position to secure a board as much as your typical big man, which is why he gets a C on this final category. Mirotic is an unrestricted free agent whose bird rights the Bucks own. That means they could choose to bring him back and go over the salary cap. Mirotic is an unrestricted free agent whose bird rights the Bucks do own. That means they could choose to bring him back and go over the salary cap to do so. However, given he didn't play in the final 6 quarters of the postseason against the Raptors, it's unlikely the Bucks bring him back. Still, anything is possible, as Kevin Garnett would say. Whatever his next endeavor is in the NBA, we wish him well.